Yeah, no. Is it just me, or does a bucket full of ice for your foot or your ankle just bring back horrible flashbacks to high school and having a sprained ankle or any type of injury? Let's talk about it. Like I said, horrible flashbacks to high school dealing with having that bucket full of ice. So the big question is, should you ice your running injury, or could it actually be doing more harm than good? And if you're still reaching for the ice bucket, the ice pack every time something flares up, then this video is for you. Hey there, I'm Dr. Abby, a physical therapist for runners over 35. I'm a runner myself. I've dealt with my own self injuries. I've dealt with my own fair share of injuries. I've been that high schooler with a bucket full of ice and suffered through it. I'm here to help you what helps with running injuries and what might be slowing your recovery down. So, ice, bucket full of ice. Nigel's now eating. Hey, yes, no. Bucket full of ice or no ice, or just an ice pack for injury. We've been told for years to just ice it when we have an injury. It is the common practice. You Google it, WebMD, Mayo Clinic says RICE, rest, ice, compression, and elevation. But that advice leaves out an important detail. Inflammation isn't bad. In fact, your body needs it to heal. So in this video, we're going to cover what ice actually does, when it's helpful, and when it might be working against your recovery goal. Okay, so what does ice actually do? Here's the deal. Ice causes your blood vessels to constrict, which then reduces inflammation and slows down swelling. That's why it can feel great after a flare-up or a fresh injury. It feels good. It is a feel-good thing. And in the short term, that can be very helpful, especially in the first 24, 72 hours after a sudden injury like a sprain, or you fell and stumbled, hit your knee, things like that. But here's the catch. Inflammation isn't just a nuisance, it's actually the first step in healing. It brings cells to the area that helps kick off the tissue repair. If you overuse ice, or you just keep using it daily to help with that discomfort or pain that you're having after your run, you're potentially slowing down the healing process. So while ice might temporarily relieve pain or swelling, it could also be preventing your body from doing what it's actually supposed to do, healing. So why isn't ice a long-term fix? Let's talk about running injuries specifically. Most of the injuries that I see, like runner's knee, IT band syndrome, groin pain, shin splints, they're not acute traumatic injuries. They're from overuse. Poor mechanics and muscle imbalances, those make up an overuse injury. So if you're using ice for weeks after the injury or the pain and discomfort started and nothing's changing, it's time to ask yourself, am I just numbing the pain, or am I addressing the root cause of the injury? And ice pretty much never addresses the root cause, because here's the truth. If you're not strengthening the tissues, improving the movement patterns, or restoring your joint control, then no amount of icing, sticking your foot in a bucket full of ice cold water, none of that is going to make that injury go away for good. Ice, it makes you feel good for about an hour, better for about an hour, unless you're sticking in the bucket of ice. That's just doesn't feel good ever. But rehab is what actually fixes your injury and your pain long term and lets you get back to running without the pain. All right, so when we want to use ice, again, it's when you've had a sudden injury like a sprain or an acute flare-up that's causing you a lot of pain and you need some relief. If there's visible swelling in the first 48 to 72 hours, or if you're using it for short-term pain relief while you get started with rehab, that's when we want to rely on ice. We want to use it. But if it doesn't make a difference, if you don't like using ice, then don't waste your time. Don't do it. You don't want to rely on ice, though, when your injury is chronic or it keeps coming back. If you've been icing for weeks without any change, without any progress, if that's the only thing that you're doing, then it's probably time to do something else. Or if you haven't addressed strength, mobility, or movement quality, then ice is not the answer. Instead of using ice, you want to start a progressive strength program. You want to work on your core, your hip, and your foot control, depending on what part of the body we're talking about that you're icing. If it's a foot and ankle, all of those you want to improve. Usually you want to improve all that. You also want to improve your running mechanics and then gradually reload the tissues with running with the specific sport that you want to get back to doing. That's how we really heal and recover. Those things are how we support real healing and build a body that can actually handle running again without flaring up every time you go for a run or increase mileage and you feel like you have to rely on ice or ice baths to get through your running. Ice baths help. That's a whole nother topic. The reason for ice baths is something different than icing of injury. So if you're tired of rotating between rest, ice, and pain, make sure you grab one of my 12-week programs that are designed specifically for runners over 35 who want to stop managing their symptoms and start actually solving the problem. Those will be linked below. Or if you really want to dive deeper, you can apply for one-on-one rehab coaching with me where I'll walk you through and create a custom plan tailored to your exact injury and your goals and keep you running. If you want a guide, if you want a video to know what the ultimate way to get back to running after an ankle injury or after ankle pain and foot pain, check out the rest of my series. Week 1 will be linked up the top, whichever side it is, I never remember. But that'll be there for you to go back and look at and kind of really get a good idea of how to recover from an injury. So if this helped you rethink your recovery routine, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and the subscribe button and send it to a runner friend who needs to stop living in the ice age and get them back and get you and them back to running strong, not sore. See you guys next time. Can't wait to keep going.